Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation. Very uplifting episode today. Join us as we will be discussing pressing topics such as depression, addiction, and much more fun for the whole entire family. And please be sure to leave a rating. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dangerous Misinformation. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation. I'm your host, Rodney Smith. This is the only podcast in the world where we love everybody. We make fun of it. Is it even a podcast? I don't even know. I hate the word podcast because everybody has a fuck. What is a podcast? What's the difference between a YouTube video and a podcast or a show? You know, what's the difference? Who cares? There's no difference. A podcast used to be a platform. It used to be like the Apple Podcast app, right? Podcast, it's like calling all cereal cornflakes is like calling everything a podcast. This isn't even a podcast, dude. It's a fucking show, okay? And welcome to it. This is the only show in the world where we love everybody. We make fun of everything. And I appreciate you being here. I'm on day 2 of having the sniffles, and I feel like dirt, and I feel very congested, and I got a headache, and I'm just tired, dude. I'm tired in general. I'm tired with life. I'm tired with love. I'm tired with liberty. I'm tired of the pursuit of happiness. I don't get why people kill themselves, though, because, like, if you ever, a very dark topic, but, like, why wouldn't you just check out and just stop doing all the things that you're supposed to do, you know? I feel like when people get to a point where they take the final step, it's because they don't want to participate in worldly activities anymore. And I haven't wanted to deal with worldly activities for a very long time, but I'm at the point where I would never harm myself, and I'm just kind of like, I just kind of want to check out and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Yeah, maybe if I had a kid or something like that, that would change. But yeah, dude, I'm just bored with everything, kind of sick of everything, and I'm just exhausted. I'm just tired, dude. People look at me sometimes that have it all figured out, and I don't. I don't think anybody ever actually fully does. Things go in ups and downs. So whenever things are down for me, I always just like to remember myself, well, the downswing always comes before the upswing. And then when things are going good, you feel kind of embarrassed for when things were even bad. And it's not like things are even bad for me right now. Like I said, I'm just fucking exhausted. I'm just drained. And I'm not even just like being sad. To be honest, are we going to have a vulnerable episode? Let's have a vulnerable episode. I guess I'm just exhausted, and I'm sick of rejection, I guess you can call it. It's not like I'm getting rejected blatantly to my face, but it's just like the lack of, you feel so much resistance in every aspect of life. And I don't know if it's just, the grass is greener on the other side, but I just don't, every step along the way, it's just always fucking something. And the worst of it is like health issues. You know what I mean? If my health was 100% in order, but I think all it is, so I actually have this really good German doctor now, and he's a huge G, and it might just boil down to, I might just have some sort of like celiac. Is it like I might just have a serious gluten intolerance, because I was feeling absolutely fine, absolutely perfect when I was only eating meats and vegetables here recently, but I lost a bunch of weight, and I was like, dude, I feel disgusting. Like I couldn't even look at pictures of myself. And it's like I can't be calling fat slobs if I'm just this disgusting skinny twig running around looking anorexic, Like I have a problem in the opposite direction in that case. Like I can tell my ass to go to the gym, which I do go to the gym, but there was a time. So when I decided, okay, I'm going to start eating bread and shit again because I need to put some weight on, I was like washing down bacon with chocolate milk and then following up my breakfast with a bowl of cereal and drinking a glass of apple juice afterwards, and then eating burritos for lunch, and then making a stack of pancakes, and then for lunch eating a steak just doused in buttery garlic. And then for dinner I'd make like a bowl of pasta and eat a big ass thing of ice cream. And so I slowly put on like 5 pounds again, But then I got this fucking joint pain started up again. And it's like my hands feel all like I feel like these two fingers right here. Like I feel like I was playing tackle football yesterday, dude. This is how I used to feel when I was playing football, and it's not like I did anything important. But yeah, I think it's just the bread just declaring World War IV on my asshole. Because when it gets in your intestines, right? Think about when you're allergic, like if you're allergic to pollen. If you're, people make fun of the whole gluten thing, but think about just regular allergies. If you're allergic to pollen, you see what it does to your eyes and your sinuses and all these things, right? These visibly allergy symptoms. But so if you have a food allergy and you're ingesting a bunch of this shit, and everything's bread, try to get away from wheat, dude. It's hard as fuck. So if you have a gluten intolerance and you're eating that, think about the havoc that it's doing to your insides that you can't visibly see with your eyes. But it's obviously causing all sorts of reactions and inflammation and all sorts of things. And so because basically your whole nervous system and immune system starts in your gut, if you have bad gut health, it's going to transfer into other areas. And then if your immune system goes haywire, it starts attacking things where there's nothing even wrong, because what your immune system's supposed to do is attack invaders. But so once your immune system gets fucked up, it's like having a drunk immune system where it can't spot the bad invaders, you know? And then, so yeah, that's what we're hoping now. Hopefully the German doctor is right. So I got to go back in 6 weeks, do like a follow-up, and I'm just going to take that test. I don't know why I didn't order that test. Well, yeah, bro, I'm just exhausted. That's kind of the moral of the story. I'm exhausted with not feeling well. I'm exhausted with the idea that I'm going to have to go back to the airplane hangar. I really don't want to. I don't think I'm going to. Even though I know it's like a safe $100,000. Like if I go pick up this contract, it'll be, like $50 an hour, but I don't want to go backwards. I would rather make like $30,000 fucking working for myself than making $100,000 working at some mega corporation, you know? Sorry, sipping that Topo Chico. Gotta stay hydrated, dude. That's a big part of being sick, staying hydrated. But yeah, just the idea of having to go back into all that bullshit is, really irking the inner millennial. And yeah, where was I going with that? I forget. I'm just getting in my feels about it. Anyway, since we're having kind of a dark episode, you know what I've noticed as I've gotten older is my relationship with alcohol. I'm really developing a dislike for it. And I don't think I'll ever not be a drinker, because it's like that Bert Kreischer monologue he went on where sometimes just being at the airport and having some drinks, or going on vacation and ripping some mimosas, or just having some beers in general, right? Every once in a while. You can't beat that. It's glorious. And I always want to be healthy enough to be able to do that, like Bert Kreischer said. But I just remember when I started drinking when I was younger. I think I started drinking around the time I was 17. And I remember beforehand. So when I was a kid in Germany, and my mom would take us with her it was just kind of normal as part of the culture there. You go to these big like wine festivals that are like big carnival things, and you be hanging out with all the kids, be hanging out, the adults be hanging out, and all the adults just be getting hammered. And I would see adults get drunk and they would be acting weird. And it's the same way like people with mental illness always kind of freaked me out because they were unpredictable. I've always been one of those people where I really study my environment and I find patterns, probably because I'm autistic and they call that pattern recognition. But then when somebody would be under the influence of alcohol, I would be like, this person's unpredictable. I don't like it. I can't predict it. Like their behavior doesn't make sense to me. And so even as a little kid, it really grossed me out. And then when I became a teenager, when I was like 16 and we started going to parties, I would see kids get hammered and they would do dumb shit like take their clothes off and run around in the street, or I'd see them puking. And sorry, I keep my nose is plugged. So if you hear me go, like breathing into the microphone, I apologize, but I got to like take a big gulp of air every couple seconds. I'm trying my best here. Okay. Excuse me. Maybe I can get that out in post production as good as I can, but we'll see. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I would see people strutting around hammered, just doing dumb shit or getting in car accidents. I was like, I don't really like this stuff. I don't like the idea of it. But then I drank one night, and then me and my close friends started drinking and partying. And what it was at the time then, when we were just these young dudes, we were just the same people, but then we would drink and it would turn up the silly. So it'd be a group of people that I trusted, my friends, my homies, or we'd go to house parties, whatever it'd be. But at that time, at that age, all the drinking would do really is, like I said, it would just turn up the silly meter. Everything, we'd be doing the same dumb shit we'd be doing as kids anyways. It's just like adding a layer of redonkulousness to it, right? But then after a while, right? Then after a couple years of this, you start realizing things are getting a little darker, and some of the people aren't necessarily having fun on the booze anymore. They actually get sad when they're drinking it, or some people might get angry, or weird shit starts happening. Like a friend got in a car accident when we were 16 and she passed away. And, it turns out that she was drinking and driving. Like, she was trying to make it home at her curfew. She was drunk, it's just she was speeding home and she passed away. And then, you just see other things like people, just the dark shit of alcohol starts happening, right? Especially then, when you get older. And then in your 20s, then you start going out to the bars. Then the bars are this brand new fun experience. It's like this whole new, you go from drinking at someone's decrepit kitchen whose parents are at a lake somewhere or something like that for the weekend. So you're drinking in someone's kitchen, having fun, passing out on floors, doing all this house party bullshit, right? And then once that starts getting kind of old, you finally turn 21. You're like, okay, now we go to the bars. Now we get to go drink with a bunch of strangers somewhere else where we don't have to worry about getting busted. This is fun. Then you do that for like 5 years, right? But then you start to notice people sitting in the bars, people that sitting in the bars by themselves. Same thing. Shit starts getting dark. They're just like drinking to feel normal, or drinking to escape problems, or just, like something with the booze. It just always goes into this dark place. And it hasn't for me, fortunately. Like, I've never been a sad drinker, getting angry when I'm drunk or something like that. But I see it in people around me that I care about. Them when they drink, they just get fucking angry, or just like there's something like some other bottled up shit, you know what I mean? And they always say that drunk words are sober thoughts. I remember hearing that when I was way younger, and that always kind of made sense to me. But I just don't like what I've seen. I don't want to be too specific about it, because you would know, like, I just don't like seeing what it's done to a lot of people close to me. And I mean, a lot of people close to me have booze problems. They straight up have booze problems. And that feels like, it feels judgmental of me to say, because I'm not perfect. I have my own demons, right? But I just think that's one of those things that you can really, or maybe people can't control it. In my mind, it's like, okay, this is something you can control. You can control how much booze you intake. But I think then some people, they have whatever monkey that is on their back, to where they feel like they need to drink at certain times, then they drink, but they don't even enjoy the drinking. Or, I've seen it where friends and family and whoever, like, where they're fucking shaking when they're not having the booze. And that just, like, what's the difference between alcohol and like heroin? You know what I mean? Like, if you're an alcoholic, you're a straight up drug addict. That's what you are. And I'm saying that lovingly, right? But like, if you drink every single day, right? If you're under the influence of alcohol every single day, that's no different than somebody doing fucking coke every day or whatever else it is, except it's legal. Like, you trust the government? Just because the government says it's legal doesn't mean it's good. You know what I mean? Like, why would you? I don't trust the government for shit. And so just because some booze lobby paid off the government finally enough to say, okay, this should be legal. And I think everything should be legal. If everybody wants to do what they want to do, go do it. Just don't fund it, and don't allow it in the cities when people do crimes to... Actually, I don't think everything should be legal. Because I don't know. I just don't like drugs and alcohol, bro. Like, I'm just getting to that point in my life where I just don't like it. And the destruction of it has made me... It's made me look at life in a certain way. I do find it annoying once people finally get sober and they look at everybody else like huge degenerates who can manage to have 1 or 2 drinks a week. It's like anything else, do it in moderation. Like I said, I don't see any difference between cocaine and alcohol. Once you go to like heroin and smoking meth and all this weird shit, okay, like that's in its own league because that's I mean, there's hobos that are just pure alcoholics. I mean, I would bet if you go and talk to a bunch of drug addicts and homeless people and people with mental health issues, I guarantee you they will say that it started with alcohol because alcohol is the easiest shit to get. You can get it cheap as fuck. It's so easy to consume and it's so addicting because you see people, I mean, with the hangover, right? You know, you have a hangover, then you drink a beer and you're fine again. So that's how people get on that carousel. Where luckily I've always had this thing about me where when I'm hungover, the last thing I want to do is drink because I just kind of have in the back of my mind, I know what's happening there. And I don't like being addicted to stuff. And so that's the last thing I wanted. Like when I've been fucked up that's why I don't like doing mushrooms or something like that because you're high for like 6 hours. And if you don't have that comparison, right? Like that's why people that smoke weed every single day, like how is that even fun? Just constantly being high. If you don't know normal, how is the high even fun? That's why I like doing these things in extreme moderation. And yeah, I don't know. Sounds judgmental of me. But anyways, happy Friday, you guys. You made it to Friday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope you get some time to do the things you want to do and unwind. And don't drink yourself stupid and do something stupid, all right? Drugs are bad, okay? But anyways, appreciate y'all. Please leave a rating. Please tell somebody about the podcast. Send me an email if you want. Say what up, lordpettypodcast@gmail.com. Follow me on social medias at Lord Petty and some form of underscores. You'll find me. Look for the pasty face. Leave a rating. Please be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Go get a copy of my book, The Petty Principles. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.